Hey, what's up YouTube? So today I'm here to showcase a hybrid endgame build for the Magicka Sorcerer, also known as MagSorc. This build is capable of pulling over 126k on the parts dummy. I will be using mythics and trial gear, so once again this is not a beginner friendly build, but rather more for endgame players. The downside of hybrid builds is that you're going to be lacking in stamina and or penetration, so these builds are optimally run in optimized groups. Furthermore, hybrid builds tend to be more melee focused rather than ranged because of the sustain issues if they have too many Magicka skills. With that being said, here's the build. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a Magicka and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For the race, I'm a high elf. I think high elves offer the best benefits for Magicka DPS. For the food, we're going to be running Clockwork Citrus Fillet for any hard content. A cheaper and almost just good alternative would be Witch Mother's Potent Brew. And lastly, if you're parsing or need more sustain, then Ghastly Eyeball is always the go-to. For the potions, we're just going to be using standard essence of spell power. Reason is we don't have access to any of these buffs: Major Prophecy, Major Sorcery, and Major Intellect. These potions do cost a bit to make, so make sure you have 3 points in a medicinal use to benefit from the full duration of the potions. So for the CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter. Swap this out in content, especially if you need more crit damage. Backstabber, Fighting Finesse are good options. Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Wrathful Strikes. For the red tree, Boundless Vitality, Rejuvenation, Siphoning Spells, and Sustained by Suffering. So for the gear, we're going to be running 5 pieces of Reliquant on the front bar and 5 pieces of Pillar and Urn on the back bar, with a Mauled Infernal monster set and a Harpooner's Waiting Kilt. So breaking it down in the main hand, we have a Reliquant's Dagger and Nirnhone with a flame damage enchant, and the offhand Pillar and Urn Dagger charged with a poison damage enchant. For the back bar, an infused Pillar and Urn Greatsword with an increased weapon and spell damage enchant. For the head and shoulders, we have 2 pieces of Mauled Infernal, both in light with Divines as the trait and max mag enchants. For the body, we have 4 pieces of Reliquant, all traded in Divines with max mag enchants. And for the leg slot, we have a Harpooner's Waiting Kilt in Divines with a max mag enchant. And for the jewelry, we have 3 pieces of Pillar and Urn jewelry, all traded in Bloodthirsty with spell damage enchants. So for the skills, we're going to be running Daedric Prey, Crystal Fragments, Mage's Wrath, Volatile Familiar, Twilight Tormentor, and Greater Storm Atronach. On the back bar, Barbed Trap, Stampede, Hurricane, Volatile Familiar, Twilight Tormentor, and Power Overload. So for the rotation, we're going to be prioritizing our Crystal Fragments and Daedric Prey as best as possible. So every 6th skill, try to use Daedric Prey. And then we're going to keep up Stampede, Hurricane, Barbed Trap, and Volatile Familiar dynamically. This is also good to note that because Pillar's on your back bar and you need to proc it every 10 seconds, casting Stampede as your primary source of proccing it isn't a bad idea. Your spammable is going to be Crystal Fragments, and then at 20% or Execute, you can start using Mage's Wrath. But even when you do use Mage's Wrath, still prioritize proc Crystal Frags. You can drop your Greater Storm Atronach whenever it's ready. You don't have to worry about the Twilight Tormentor, it's just there for the passive damage. And Power Overload on the back bar is just there for the extra damage when we ult dump from 500 ult to about 200 ult, and that's when we drop our Greater Storm Atronach. So closing thoughts. So this is really similar to the MagSorc video I just made recently, but the difference is that we're tied to only using medium armor, and on top of that our sustain is bad because we have 5 medium armor pieces, so we're forced to use 2-hander. I did try Maelstrom 2-hander and it wasn't that bad, but Pillar and Urn pulled ahead just by a little bit. So just some gear alternatives. You can still run Bosse, it's still a solid choice, especially if you body it and you can control your Magicka. Whirl of Depths is still a solid set and does a bit more DPS than Sororia. You can also front bar this as well. Advancing Yokeda isn't bad, and Order's Wrath isn't bad either. You can also go the route of Reliquant, which is also another good alternative. For Mythics, Death Dealer, Sea Serpent, and Mora are all solid choices, especially when you can't use Harpooners. And for monster sets, Zon, Stormfist, and Kjarnar are probably my go-to options. And I think that wraps it up. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Or better yet, come join our Discord. There's also a PlayStation North America ESO community Discord that I'm a part of, so if you happen to be on that server, you should come join that as well. I have recently started a YouTube membership, so if you feel like my content is worth a sub, up, please consider taking a look at it. As one of the perks for membership, I will be prioritizing builds for my members. Lastly, I also have a website available now with written guides on there. Link will be in the description. And as always, thank you for watching the video. I'll let this parse play out and add an outfit section at the end. See you in the next one.